They tell us that success is something we earn, that we have to prove ourselves worthy before we can claim the life we desire. But what if that formula has it backwards? What if the secret isn't to chase success, but to become it first? Before the achievement, before the applause, before a single dollar is earned or one goal checked off, comes identity. Not the identity the world gives you, but the one you choose to embody. This is the quiet truth known by every man and woman who ever rose from obscurity to greatness. They didn't wait for evidence. They didn't wait for permission. They stepped into the role they were meant to play and let the world catch up. Think of it this way. You wouldn't expect an actor to wait for the final scene to become the character. From the moment they step on stage, they are that role. They move like them, think like them, feel what they feel, and in doing so, they breathe life into a story that once only lived on paper. You must do the same, because identity is not built through passive wishing, it's forged through deliberate embodiment. That means carrying yourself like the person you aspire to be before the world sees it. Walk with the posture of someone who has conquered their past. Speak with the calm assurance of a person who already knows how the story ends. Move through your day with the dignity, discipline, and self-respect of someone who's already fulfilled their calling. It may feel unnatural at first. It may even feel dishonest. But that discomfort is the growing pain of transformation. Roger Bannister shattered the 4-minute mile, barrier not, by trying harder but by seeing it in his mind first. Over and over again, he ran that race inside himself, until his body finally followed what his spirit already knew to be possible. And it's not just athletes or presidents who harness this power. Picture a retired military veteran starting over in a new chapter of life. Maybe he's in his 60s. Maybe society says he should slow down, fade into the background. But he wakes up early, shaves with care, dresses with intention, learns a new skill, starts a business, not because he's trying to be somebody, but because he's becoming who he was always meant to be. That's identity. That's legacy in motion. Older Americans, you know more than most that the world is quick to put people in boxes, to reduce identity to age, job title, or the number of years behind you. But hear this. Clearly, your past does not define your future. The most powerful reinvention begins when you no longer wait for external change, when you declare, "This is who I am now." It doesn't matter if the bank account doesn't reflect it yet, if your health isn't where it used to be, if no one else sees it. What matters is the decision the moment you stop waiting to become and start being. John F. Kennedy didn't ask for national consensus when he declared we would go to the moon. He claimed the identity of a nation that dared greatly, and in doing so, he pulled the impossible into reality. You can do the same on a personal level. Write it down. Who is the version of you that already has what you want? How do they spend their morning? What do they say yes to? What do they say no to? What do they tolerate, and what do they demand? Then live that out today, not perfectly, but intentionally. This is not pretending. It's not some hollow exercise in fake confidence. It is the most honest act of courage to live as if your God-given potential were already real. Because in truth it is, the world doesn't change when you succeed. It changes the moment you decide that success is already part of who you are. And when you finally act from that place not with arrogance but with humble certainty, life has a way of rearranging itself to match your vision. So ask yourself, who would I be if I already were the person I was born to become? And then become them, not someday, but now. Close your eyes for a moment and picture your most ambitious dream fully realized. Feel it in your chest, hear the applause, see the smile on your face. Let it come alive in your mind with vivid detail. Because what you just imagined is far more powerful than you might think. You see, every achievement begins twice. First in the mind, then in the world. This is not poetry, it's biology, it's psychology. It's how human beings were designed to create. Mental rehearsal is not a fantasy. It is a reprogramming mechanism for your brain, one that rewires the nervous system to support success before it physically arrives. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. That's why Olympic athletes rehearse their races in their minds 1,000 times before they step onto the track. When the moment finally comes, it feels familiar. Their body already knows what to do because the mind has led the way. This is the science of visualization. But more than that, this is the art of becoming. If you're an older American listening to this right now, you've already lived through eras of reinvention. You've seen careers evolve, families grow, dreams rise and fall. And if you're still standing, it means you still have more to give, more to create, more to become. But first, you must rehearse it. Every morning, before the noise of the world pulls you in, take just 5 minutes to imagine your goal as already achieved, not as a someday hope, but as a current reality. See the office, the health, the impact, the peace, feel the confidence. Let your nervous system memorize success, because once it does, your choices will begin to shift naturally, effortlessly. You'll stand taller, speak differently, make different decisions. Why? Because you're not chasing a dream. You're aligning with a destiny that your mind has already claimed. Think about Roger Bannister. Long before he ever broke the 4-minute mile, he lived it in his imagination. He saw himself breaking through the tape while the experts said it was impossible. But he didn't listen to the world, he listened to his vision. And when he finally did it, the impossible became a blueprint for others. Within weeks, others followed, because the real barrier was never physical, it was psychological. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't need the world's permission to start believing. You don't need external validation to begin internal preparation. You only need the courage to imagine your best self and act accordingly. Imagine a man who spent decades working a factory job. Hard work, honest labor. He's now in retirement. The world says, slow down. But every morning, he gets up before sunrise, makes coffee, opens a notebook, and visualizes a new life, a second act. Maybe he's learning to paint, or write, or mentor others. He rehearses these moments in his mind until they no longer feel like fiction, they feel like home. And soon, opportunities begin to appear. Not because luck showed up, but because he did. This is how transformation begins. Quietly, internally, but with force. You have the power to do the same. Right now. Not next week, not next year, this very day. Visualize with emotion. Because it's not enough to just see your future. You must feel it. Emotion is what locks the vision into your subconscious. It is the fuel that turns imagination into identity. So, when you wake up tomorrow, don't just go through the motions. Start with the mind. Picture yourself living the life you were created for. Speak it, feel it, taste it. Let every cell of your body memorize that future. Because when the mind is convinced, the body will follow. And when both are aligned, there is no force on earth strong enough to keep you from becoming everything you were meant to be. You are not rehearsing a fantasy. You are building a foundation. And every time you close your eyes to see your vision, you bring it one step closer to life. There's a reason some people walk into a room and immediately draw attention, respect, even opportunity. It's not charm, it's not luck, it's alignment. You can feel it in their presence and internal clarity that seems to bend the world in their favor. They're not chasing success, they're resonating with it. This is the law of attraction, not as some mystical wish-granting force, but as a law of human energy and psychology. Like attracts like. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Your thoughts are not idle, they are signals. Constant broadcasts sent out into the world, attracting people, events, and decisions that match their frequency. If you're tuned to scarcity, you see lack everywhere. If you're tuned to abundance, you begin to see what others miss, possibilities hiding in plain sight. The universe, in its own mysterious way, responds to this alignment. But let's bring this down from the clouds. This isn't about sitting in silence hoping your dreams show up. This is about tuning your mind, your words, your emotions, and your habits to the reality you want until it becomes inevitable. Modern science supports this. The observer effect in quantum physics shows that particles behave differently when observed, meaning consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality. And closer to home, your brain's reticular activating system filters what you notice. Feed it thoughts of growth and opportunity, and suddenly doors appear where you once saw walls. Thomas Watson knew this when he built IBM. Back when his company was just a few desks and big dreams, He required his employees to dress, speak, and carry themselves like industry leaders. Not out of pretense, but out of alignment. He wasn't training his team for where they were, he was training them for where they were going. And it worked, because they became the embodiment of their vision. Before the world recognized them as great, they believed it themselves. Ask yourself, what frequency are you broadcasting right now? When you speak about your goals, do you do it with hesitation or certainty? When you walk into a room, does your body language whisper doubt or declare confidence? Every thought, every word, every step is either attracting your vision or repelling it. Older Americans understand this on a deeper level. You've lived through seasons of doubt and hope, gain and loss. And you know what it means to get back up. But now, more than ever, it's time to align. To tune your whole being, your thoughts, your speech, your habits to the future you still believe in. That might mean changing your vocabulary. Replacing phrases like, I can't, or maybe one day with I am, I will, and it's already happening. Because your words don't just reflect your reality, they construct it. Each sentence is a command sent to your subconscious, shaping your actions and decisions. This isn't wishful thinking. It's strategic design. Think of a radio. You don't hear the music you want until you're on the right frequency. And once you're dialed in, the noise fades and the signal becomes clear. Your life works the same way. The clearer your inner frequency, the clearer the path in front of you. Start small. Speak as if your success is unfolding not tomorrow but now. Walk into every room with the posture of someone who belongs there. Choose your relationships, your routines, even your media consumption, with the discernment of someone building something sacred. And when resistance comes, and it will, don't panic. Resistance is proof that your signal is changing. It's the static before the breakthrough. Push through it. Stay aligned. Stay committed. You are not begging the universe to give you something you don't deserve. You are aligning with what has always been yours, waiting for you to match its signal. So today, raise your frequency. Let your thoughts, your tone, your habits, and your presence reflect the greatness within you. The law of attraction is not magic, it's movement. And once you move in alignment with your vision, the world moves with you. Words, they seem so simple. Just sounds and syllables strung together to fill silence. But don't be fooled. Words carry weight. They are tools of creation or weapons of destruction. And for those walking the path of transformation, they are everything. The most powerful people in history didn't just lead with actions, they led with language. They didn't wait for results to speak, they spoke results into existence. Winston Churchill didn't mumble hope into the face of tyranny. He declared victory before a single outcome was certain. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall never surrender. Those words didn't just inspire, they reprogrammed a nation's mindset. That's the hidden power of language. It shapes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. It reshapes the landscape of your brain. It builds the architecture of your identity. And like a blueprint, your mind follows its design brick by brick. The average person says, I hope things get better. The achiever says, I will make them better. The uncertain whisper, I'll try. The aligned declare, I am doing it. If you want to rise, you must speak the language of someone who already has. This isn't ego, it's alignment. Every time you say maybe, you plant seeds of doubt. But when you say, I will, you command your subconscious to prepare. You set the stage for action. You initiate belief. And belief is the first brick in any lasting success. Older Americans know this truth deeply, even if they've never named it. You've spoken strength into your children when they were weak. You've told friends, you've got this, even when life was heavy. And you've stood up and said, we'll get through this, when others wanted to quit. But the question is, have you spoken that way to yourself? Because the world responds to your internal dialogue more than you realize. If your language is timid, your posture becomes small. If your words are weak, your decisions lose their edge. But when you speak with certainty, your actions follow. So audit your vocabulary. Start listening to the way you talk about your goals, your health, your future. Do you speak like someone trying or someone becoming? Eliminate phrases like, I'll try, hopefully, we'll see, if I'm lucky. These are the seeds of self-sabotage. Replace them with clear, empowering declarations. I am building a new life. I will overcome this. I choose disciplina. I create my future. Every time you speak in this way, you reinforce a powerful identity. And over time, your subconscious, like a diligent builder, constructs a life that matches your declarations. You're not just shifting your speech, you're shifting your operating system. And don't stop with statements. Upgrade your questions too. Your brain is always looking for answers, but the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how can I grow from this? Don't ask, what if I fail? Ask, what if this is exactly what I needed to succeed? Your questions direct your focus, and where your focus goes, your energy flows. Change your questions, and you change your life. This is not about pretending. This is about declaring who you are becoming and letting your words pull your reality into alignment. You are not powerless, you are not stuck, and you are not waiting for someone else to define your future. Speak like a leader. Speak like someone chosen for more. Speak like someone who knows the truth. That words create worlds, and the world you speak today becomes the life you live tomorrow. We live in a world addicted to the spectacular. Headlines scream about overnight success. Social media glorifies the highlight reel. But here's the truth that rarely makes the news. Greatness is not built in moments. It is forged in habits. Not the kind of habits that look impressive from the outside, but the quiet, consistent rituals that seem insignificant in the moment yet compound into a life of excellence. If you want to change your life, don't start with your goals. Start with your mornings, because how you live your days is how you live your life. Vince Lombardi understood this better than most. When he took over the Green Bay Packers team battered by loss, didn't start with flashy plays or dramatic speeches. He started with the basics, blocking, tackling, discipline. He demanded that players not just train like champions, but live like champions long before the scoreboard confirmed it. He made them rehearse victory in every detail, from the way they dressed walking into the facility to the way they spoke in meetings. The result? A team that won 5 NFL championships in 7 years. Not by accident, by ritual. And if a football team could become legends by embracing small daily disciplines, oh, can you? Older Americans understand this principle intuitively. You've seen the power of routine in your own life. Maybe you were the one who always got up before sunrise, who paid the bills, kept the house running, showed up on time, and made sacrifices when no one was watching. That wasn't just survival, that was training, a foundation laid in discipline. But now, it's time to take that wisdom and redirect it toward the version of you that still waits to be revealed. What if you designed your day not around what is, but around who you're becoming? Start with your appearance. Dress like someone who respects their future. Not because of vanity, but because of identity. When you show up just a little sharper, just a little more intentional, your subconscious takes note. Ah, it says, we're leveling up. Then examine your space. Is your desk a battlefield of clutter, or does it reflect the order of someone who's clear, calm, and in control? Every object in your environment sends a signal. It whispers either chaos or purpose. Your tools, your books, even your background noise, all of it matters. Surround yourself with the symbols of the life you want. Let your physical world rise to meet the future you've already claimed in your heart. And don't forget your mental diet. What you feed your mind each day is as important as what you feed your body. Are you scrolling through distractions or immersing yourself in wisdom? Listen to voices that challenge and elevate you. Read words that stretch your thinking. Cut the noise and tune in to truth. At the end of the day, don't just collapse into bed and call it done. Reflect, review, not to criticize, but to calibrate. What did you do today that aligned with your vision? What did you tolerate that your future self would not? And perhaps most important of all, feel the growth. These rituals may feel awkward at first. You may feel like an imposter, but that discomfort is not failure. It's proof that you're breaking free of your old identity. That's how you know it's working. Because transformation never feels comfortable. It feels unfamiliar. But over time, repetition rewires the nervous system. What once felt forced becomes natural. And eventually, the person you are pretending to be is simply who you are. Remember this, the most extraordinary lives are not built on grand gestures. They are constructed quietly in the small choices repeated day after day after day. So begin today. Lay one brick, create one ritual, say one intentional no, say one purposeful yes, and do it again tomorrow. Because while the world is waiting for breakthrough, you'll be building the foundation. And soon enough, the life you once dreamed of will be the life you wake up in. Not because of one massive leap, but because of one consistent decision at a time. That's the power of daily ritual. That's the power of a life aligned. Look around you, not at your bank account, not at your job title, not even at your reflection. Look at your environment, the people, the places, the energy you allow into your space each day. Because whether you realize it or not, your environment is either pulling you toward the life you want or quietly anchoring you to the one you're trying to leave behind. This is a truth often ignored, yet never escaped. You rise or fall to the level of your surroundings. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're surrounded by doubt, clutter, negativity, or mediocrity, you'll fight a losing battle. Not because you're weak, but because your environment is constantly whispering to your subconscious, this is who you are. This is how far you can go. And unless you interrupt that pattern, you stay stuck. Andrew Carnegie understood this long before personal development had a name. He didn't rise from poverty to become the wealthiest man in the world by sheer willpower. He rose because he deliberately engineered his environment. He surrounded himself with brilliant mind strategists, innovators, thinkers, many of whom were smarter than he was. Why? Because he knew the fastest way to grow was to stand among giants. He called it the mastermind principle, and it became the cornerstone of every great empire that followed. Ask yourself right now, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Whose voices fill your ears? Whose habits rub off on you? Are these people expanding your vision or shrinking it? Older Americans know something about loyalty, about standing by people, even through hard times. But there's a difference between love and limitation. You can love people deeply and still choose to protect your vision from their fear. Because not everyone is meant to go where you're headed. If someone consistently doubts your dreams, questions your ambition, or reminds you of your limitations more than your potential, it's not judgmental to create distance. It's wise. You wouldn't plant roses in toxic soil and expect them to bloom. Why do the same with your purpose? Your environment is not just who you're around, it's also what surrounds you. Look at your home, your workspace, your car. Are these places reflecting your future or your past? Is your desk arranged with order and clarity? Or is it a daily reminder of chaos and distraction? Is your wardrobe selected with intention, or have you stopped dressing for who you're becoming? Every item in your world sends a message to your subconscious. This is who I am. That means every upgrade, no matter how small, is a declaration. I'm stepping into more. You don't have to live in a mansion or wear designer clothes. That's not the point. But you must surround yourself with symbols of excellence, order, beauty, and aspiration because your mind is constantly interpreting your world, then adjusting your behavior to match it. Even the media you consume matters. The books you read, the shows you watch, the voices you allow into your mind through your phone or television, are they nourishing your vision or numbing it? And when it comes to inspiration, fill your world with it. Print out your goals. Read the biographies of those who overcame. Hang photos, quotes, or symbols that remind you of who you're becoming. Make your environment a place where the future feels normal. This might feel foreign at first, maybe even uncomfortable. That's okay. That discomfort is not an error. It's a signal that you're growing. Over time, your environment becomes your silent partner in transformation. It doesn't yell, it doesn't push, but it constantly nudges your subconscious in one direction or the other. So choose carefully. Upgrade intentionally. And begin today by making one environmental change that aligns with your vision. Clean the room, replace the soundtrack, silence the critic, hang the blueprint. Because when your world starts looking like your dream, your mind begins believing it's possible. And once your mind believes, it's only a matter of time before the rest of your life follows. There comes a time when vision must leave the mind and enter the world. You've imagined the future. You've spoken the words. You've aligned your environment. But no, it's time to move, because without action, even the most vivid dream remains just that, a dream. And not just any action, bold, inspired, aligned action. Action that flows from certainty, not from desperation. This is where many people falter. They visualize success but hesitate to step toward it. They wait for perfect timing, for external signs, for someone to say, "You're ready." But boldness doesn't wait for permission. Boldness moves first and lets results catch up. Ray Kroc was 52 years old, worn out, and nearly broke when he stumbled upon a small burger stand in San Bernardino. On paper, he had no reason to believe that flipping burgers would lead to global domination. But he saw something, and more importantly, he acted as if the dream was already real. While others saw a small restaurant, Kroc envisioned a global empire. And then he behaved accordingly. He negotiated with certainty. He built systems with precision. He pursued every opportunity with the confidence of a man who had already succeeded. That wasn't arrogance, that was alignment. That's the difference between movement and momentum. When you act from a place of uncertainty, the energy is frantic, scattered. You grasp, you hope, you chase. But when you act as if your success is already unfolding, your movements carry a different frequency. They are magnetic, grounded, convincing. People can feel it. Opportunities respond to it. The world bends toward it. And that's the secret. Not just to act, but to act as if the outcome is already written. You don't ask, "Will this work?" You say, "This is working. I'm simply catching up to the result." So ask yourself right now, what would the most successful version of me do today? Would they wait another month to launch that business, or would they start building the foundation now? Would they hesitate to send that email, make that call, take that step, or would they act with the urgency of someone who knows time is precious? Your successful self already has habits, standards, a level of execution that doesn't flinch under pressure. You don't need to fantasize about it, you need to embody it. Start with one action, one non-negotiable behavior that your future self would treat as sacred. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to prepare for the day. Maybe it's reaching out to a mentor, making an investment, saying no to a distraction, or finally confronting a fear you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, do it now. Not tomorrow, not when it feels easier, now. Because the fastest way to become your future self is to act like them now before the evidence appears, before the world validates your choice. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Yes, it will test your resolve. But discomfort is not your enemy, it's your signpost. It means you're leaving the shore of who you've been and sailing toward who you're becoming. Don't confuse this kind of boldness with recklessness. Bold, inspired action is not random. It's not blind hustle. It's intelligent alignment, the merging of vision, preparation, and movement. And it's rooted in a deeper truth, that the person you aspire to be is not some distant stranger. They are already within you, waiting for you to act like they're real. So take the meeting, start the project, make the commitment. Not with trembling hands, but with steady purpose. Because every time you act with conviction, you send a message to your nervous system, this is who we are now. And when your actions finally catch up to your identity, the world has no choice but to respond. Step boldly. The path will rise to meet you. Before the world believes in you, you must believe in yourself. Not halfway. Not when things are going well, but with a deep, unshakable conviction, especially when there's no proof in sight. That kind of belief is rare and powerful. It's the bedrock upon which every great achievement is built. Because the truth is, success rarely begins in certainty. It often starts in silence, in rejection, in the loneliness of walking a road others can't yet see. And in those moments, it's not skill or strategy that keeps you going, it's belief. Not the belief that says, I hope this works, but the kind that whispers, It's already mine. I just haven't arrived yet. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." That wasn't just clever philosophy. It was a declaration of power, a reminder that your inner world dictates your outer world. That belief is not a luxury, it's a choice, and it's one you must make daily, especially when your current reality tries to convince you otherwise, because the greatest visions will often be tested. The universe wants to know, do you really mean it? Will you keep going when no one claps? Will you invest in your dream when it's not paying you back yet? Will you speak boldly about what you believe when others roll their eyes or walk away? That's the fire that forges legacy. And older Americans, you know this better than most. You've been through storms, faced real setbacks. You've watched dreams rise and some fall. But here's what experience gives you: perspective. The ability to look back and say, I made it through that, I'll make it through this. Belief is not a feeling. It's not optimism. It's a decision to align with your highest self again and again, no matter the evidence. And you can strengthen that belief daily, intentionally. Start by gathering proof, however small. Record your wins, every breakthrough, every risk taken, every step forward. Remind yourself of how far you've come, not how far you have to go. Feed your belief with the stories of others who rose from nothing. Read the biographies. Watch the documentaries. Let their struggles and triumphs remind you that your path is not unusual, it's universal. And when doubt knocks, which it will, don't panic. Don't spiral. Instead, question it like a detective. Says who? What if the opposite were true? What evidence am I ignoring? Belief is not about being blind to reality. It's about choosing which part of reality to magnify. Because when you believe in your future, you speak differently. You walk into a room with a different presence. You handle challenges with a steadiness that others can't explain. And people notice. That's what creates trust. That's what opens doors. That's what makes others believe, because they feel that you believe. And belief doesn't mean pretending everything is easy. It means trusting that everything, even the setbacks, is serving your growth. Roger Bannister didn't wait for applause before he trained like a champion. Muhammad Ali declared he was the greatest before the world agreed. Walt Disney gave thanks for Disneyland before the first shovel touched the ground. They weren't crazy. They were aligned. And their belief made them unstoppable. So practice belief the same way you train a muscle. Visualize your goal daily, not as a possibility, but as a reality. Say thank you for it, not because it's here yet, but because it's on the way. Let gratitude be your proof of faith. Because every time you express thanks for what hasn't arrived, you tell your subconscious, it's coming, get ready, and one day it will arrive. And you'll look back and realize the only thing that ever stood between you and the life you wanted was the strength of your belief. So believe boldly, and let that belief carry you through the waiting into the becoming. There is a quiet, often overlooked power that can reshape your destiny, not by force, but by focus. That power is gratitude. Not the kind you express after something good happens, not the polite thank you say out of habit, but a deeper kind of future-focused gratitude that turns the unseen into the inevitable. It's one thing to be grateful for what you have. That's noble. But it's another thing entirely to be grateful for what's on the way, for a life you've only dared to imagine. And here's the key. When you express gratitude for your vision as if it already exists, your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. It begins to filter your thoughts, your decisions, and your behaviors to match that new reality. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you start giving thanks for the life you're stepping in toenuts someday, but now you begin living as that person today. This isn't wishful thinking. It's neural programming. It's how Olympic athletes win before they ever step onto the field. It's how entrepreneurs build empires from garage floors. It's how ordinary people become extraordinary. Because what you thank the world for, you begin to attract. Walt Disney used to walk through the empty groves of Anaheim, describing the sounds, smells, and laughter of a magical kingdom that didn't exist yet. He thanked investors who hadn't yet believed. He celebrated families who hadn't yet visited. He spoke of his vision with such gratitude that it became contagious. That's the power of acting as if, and gratitude is its fuel. Imagine waking up tomorrow and starting your day with this simple practice. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, not from your past, but from your future. Say, I'm grateful for the thriving business I've built. I'm grateful for the strong, healthy body I now live in. I'm grateful for the peace I feel each day. It may feel strange at first, almost dishonest, but that discomfort is the sign that your subconscious is being stretched, because you're not lying to yourself. You're aligning yourself with the version of you that already exists on the other side of belief, on the other side of discipline, on the other side of action. This kind of gratitude also changes how you face adversity. When problems arise, and they will, you no longer ask, why is this happening to me? You ask, what is this teaching me? And then you give thanks for the lesson, for the strength, for the opportunity to grow. That shift alone transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Older Americans, you've been through seasons of difficulty. You've walked through loss, through hardship, through seasons of uncertainty, but you're still here. And you understand better than most that some of life's greatest gifts come wrapped in pain. Gratitude is how you extract that gift. It's how you turn wounds into wisdom. It's how you transform waiting into preparation. And it's how you close the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. So, let gratitude be your daily ritual. Set triggers. When you rise in the morning, give thanks. Before every meal, pause and speak gratitude. As you close your day, write one thing you're thankful for, not because it's finished, but because it's forming. This consistent practice does more than elevate your mood. It rewires your brain, it opens your eyes, it clears your path. And soon, what once felt far away begins to feel familiar, because you've lived it every day in thought, in language, in thanks. You've rehearsed it, aligned with it, and the world, in response, begins to rearrange itself around your conviction. Remember, your future is created twice, first in your imagination, then in your reality. And gratitude is the bridge that connects the two. So begin today. Give thanks not just for what's behind you, but for what's ahead. Speak it, write it, feel it, because when you live in gratitude for the life you're building, you become the kind of person who naturally receives it. No one becomes extraordinary alone. Behind every fulfilled vision, every personal transformation, every comeback story, stands a circle seen or unseen of people who shaped the journey. And whether they lifted you up or pulled you down, their presence mattered more than you knew. Because who you spend time with doesn't just influence your mood, it determines your identity. Your closest relationships are not just social, they're strategic. Every conversation, every interaction, every shared habit either reinforces your old story or invites you to step into a new one. And if you want to create lasting, meaningful change, you must be intentional about who you allow into your inner circle. Think of Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in American history. He was once asked the secret to his success. Was it strategy? Was it intelligence? Was it luck? He gave a different answer. He credited his mastermind group, a carefully selected group of individuals who were smarter, more specialized, more visionary in their respective fields. Carnegie didn't surround himself with people who told him what he wanted to hear. He surrounded himself with people who challenged him to grow. But here's the part most people miss. He built that circle before he became successful, not afterward. He knew what many forget, that your environment must evolve before your results do. Take a moment and ask yourself honestly, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they dreamers or doubters? Are they pushing you toward your purpose or holding you hostage to your past? Do they speak faith or fear? Do they remind you of your strength or rehearse your limitations? It's a sobering question, but one worth asking. Because if you surround yourself with small thinking, toxic energy, and casual mediocrity, you'll shrink to fit that mold, no matter how big your vision is. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life with cruelty, but it does mean protecting your mindset like it's sacred ground, because it is. If someone constantly dismisses your goals, undermines your confidence, or scoffs at your standards, they are not neutral. They are noise, and too much noise will drown out your clarity. So start to curate your circle. Seek out mentors, people who have gone where you want to go. You don't need to know them personally. Read their books, listen to their interviews, study how they think. Join communities where your aspirations are normal, not the exception. Put yourself in rooms where you're not the smartest person, where you feel slightly out of place but deeply inspired. That discomfort? It's growth knocking. And it doesn't stop with people. Your physical environment speaks just as loudly. Organize your space like someone who's serious about their mission. Keep your tools sharp, your schedule focused, your surroundings clean, clear, and elevated. Even your digital world matters. Who do you follow? What do you consume? Are you scrolling through distractions or filling your mind with fuel? Older Americans, you've lived enough life to know that relationships can make or break your spirit. You've seen how one voice of belief can carry you through hard times, and how one voice of doubt can talk you out of your calling. You've earned the right to choose wisely. So today, make a decision. I will no longer give front row access to people who don't support my future. Love them, yes. Pray for them, of course. But limit their influence if their energy doesn't align with where you're going. Because your life is not just the product of your habits, it's the reflection of your associations. And when you surround yourself with people who speak life, who call out your strength, who expect more from you than you expect from yourself, everything changes. You think bigger, you act bolder, you believe deeper. And in time, you become someone others want to be around for the same reason. You rise because you finally realized you were never just building a dream. You were building the team that would help you bring it to life.